be structuring a linear regression question will come right after a product moment. I will not give you a new set of values to recalculate all of that. So you will go back to your product moment results and you will transfer those two numbers you need to calculate the gradient. I will not make you recalculate that again. It's pointless. Okay, so bear that in mind. Because the results for the product moment, you can easily use it to calculate your gradient. Okay, we're going to get a value there. Let's do the calculation one time. Anybody can tell me what the value is? $1.12. Please verify if it's 1.12. 1.12.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, the question say now to calculate C now. Okay. Now we can take this out. Right. So we all understand why this is so. And that's a good thing about that. It's not like I have to say, all you copy down everything, I'm ready to erase the board. So there's no about erasing board. Okay, I just met my colleague and I was telling that this method has some advantages to it. Yes, it has its disadvantages. The technology, we are limited to it. But if it is functioning properly, you can, everything you can replace. So all of this is there. So we can replay and say, well, okay, yes, watch it again, replay it, and so forth. Ask questions. This is due next week. So you still have the rest of the weekend, the whole of next week to ask, sir, I don't really get that. Please send me a little explanation again. You can do that. I'm very prepared to do that. Okay? So please bear that in mind. Right. Now the y-intercept. This is the formula for the y-intercept. Let us highlight it and let us bring it up because it says use the results in part C. So let's see what results in part C we can use to calculate the y-intercept. Here's the formula for the y-intercept. I'm going to make this a little small. I'm going to put an equal there. And this is a fraction. So we can clearly see that this is a fraction. Bam. I'm going to put this by the side there. Just a minute. And I need your participation. Please take a look at all of these results. Okay, let me put it there. Can anybody pluck out the necessary numbers from all of these to substitute into this equation for C? Just say anything, because what I want to do now, I want to create a discussion. As I sometimes say, I'm not really there to teach, I'm not really there to tell you do that. It's like I provide this information, the platform there, and you do the learning, your activity, and then I provide the support. You see, and so we're going together. It's not like I telling you do that, that is so. Because the whole learning is based on what you're doing, and I've seen some people doing it. And that is the whole intention, the purpose of doing it that way. So please be, actively doing your stuff and ask questions and so forth. So can somebody please tell me what I need to put one number there? Okay, by the way, how many numbers we need to substitute into this equation? Anybody? This is the equation for C. Let's take our time and watch it carefully. How many numbers do we need to substitute into this formula?
So at the bottom is an N?
At the bottom is an N. Okay, probably I need to put it a little bigger. At the bottom is an N.
Oh.
Yeah,
So
just
4?
Just a minute. Someone said 4. Okay, just a minute. Probably not seeing it clearly. I'll put it smaller like after. Too big. I'll just undo to put it back smaller. How many numbers do we need to substitute into that formula? How many numbers? Someone said 4. Anybody agree or disagree? Call out the 4 numbers you think. Call them by the name. What do you see? How do you read that? Obviously, this is C. When we see this symbol, we say C. Although if we see SEE, we say C also. Well, this symbol, we say C. When we see those two lines, what do we say?
Equal.
Right. What do you say when you see that? This.
Sum of.
That's all.
Sum of y.
The sum of Y. So this is one number, the sum of Y. You see? So that is why now I always say this is a language. I was just talking to my colleague earlier on, and I was telling him it's a language, It's words converted to symbols, symbols converted back to words. C is equal to the sum of Y. All right, so one symbol represents SUM, the sum of Y. All right, you have the sum of Y. You have 4 words there. All right, 4 words, and that's what math does, convert words to symbols. That's basically it. So math and English are interrelated. That's not a number, right? That's an operation, isn't it? So when you see that, what do we say?
Minus.
Minus. We have to minus. We have to subtract. So we have one number so far, the sum of Y. What is happening there? What is happening there?
M times the sum of x.
M times the sum of x. So that's like 2 numbers multiplying, isn't that so? M
Yes, sir.
stands for the word gradient, agreed? And the sum
Yes.
of x is another number. And n now is the number of pairs. Because remember, when you interview the person, how long you studied for and what is your score. So from each individual, you're collecting 2 variables. All right, you're collecting data for 2 variables because you're analyzing correlation. So you come to, let's say, that person, your friend. Hello, how long you studied for? That's one variable, hours. What is your score? That's another variable. Okay, 2 variables. So n is the number of pairs of variables, the number of x and y's, the number of persons you interviewed. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers as you correctly said. Okay? So let's go back to the table in part C to see if we get those 4 numbers. All right? And look at what I'm going to do based on what we just discussed. Put a bracket there. I'm supposed to put a number here, a number here, a number here, and a number here. What number comes in the first bracket? Which number here you think represents the sum of y in that table?
515.
515. Exactly. These are the y's. And that number there is the sum of y. What is the 181? There's a 181
Sum of
close by
x.
it.
So x. The sum of x.
The sum of x. And why you think we have to find the sum of y and the sum of x? Because the formula for product moment says that we have to do that. Here it is. In the formula, you need to find the sum of x and the sum of y and multiply them. So that's why we needed to do that. The sum of x times the sum of y. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers to complete the Pearsons. Very much explained in the YouTube videos. Check it out. Any questions, please let me know. Okay, so we have to put 515 there. What number comes in this bracket? This number is not there, right? Where are we to go for that number?